You ever have it where life is just way, way overwhelming? Like everything keeps coming at you and you just feel buried? I was talking to a friend of mine and he was talking about one of his friends. Several years ago, he was being treated for cancer in Chicago. He was living in a trailer. And one day, halfway through his sessions of getting chemo, he said to himself, you know what? I got to choose to either live or I got to choose to die. And he made the choose to live just by changing his perspective and looking at things from a different lens. And again, there are times, and right now might be the case where you're just getting piled on, piled on, piled on, and you feel buried again with the things that are coming at you in your life. Well, today we're going to talk about Josh and some of the things he experienced over the past month and his perspective as to how he handled it. Welcome to Finding Hope in a Suffering Society. I'm Rob,
I'm Josh.
and we're here to help you find the beauty
In the darkness.
if you found that light.
Please go show your glow. Please share it with the world. Everybody needs to see it.
Amen. So Josh, you had some pretty traumatic stuff happen to you over the past month, and it related to really things that were happening to your family.
Yeah, and I have, and I don't want to say traumatic because, I mean, it is what it is, and I've had to learn how to live life on life's terms, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do with this. Like, I can sit here and I can look at everything that's happened. My daughter having a 9 centimeter cyst on her right ovary.
Okay, that's one. So go through them. Yep.
By the way, she had surgery last Tuesday. Everything went well. She came out okay. Everything's fine. She's actually heading back to school tomorrow morning. So that all worked out just like I thought it would.
What was the second thing that happened to your other daughter?
That would actually, Savannah was the second thing. The first one was Kennedy broke her foot. And she's doing well. She gets her cast off, or gets her walking boot off. And the next couple weeks, she had tryouts for volleyball. They took video footage for her and put her on her club team and accepted her that way without a tryout. So both of those things kind of fell into place.
How about the third?
And now the third one is the one that's a little tricky, but we're waiting on that one still. Chiari malformation is what it's called. My 15-year-old daughter has been struggling with back pain since last November, and we found out she has a disease or a malformation called Chiari malformation. And what it is the base of her skull back here didn't form properly, and her brain has sank down into her spinal column 17 millimeters. So what that's done is it's caused a narrow way for her spinal fluid to get into her spine. If you don't have spinal fluid flowing, that's obviously a bad thing. So what they're going to do is they're going to go in and they're going to trim that bone back. They're going to, make a few incisions, put in some basically fake skin, and hope that opens that up so she can have better flow.
So in essence, she's going to have brain surgery.
Yes,
So,
she is having brain surgery.
Yeah.
It's not essence, it is. She's going in and having brain surgery.
Yeah.
And it was something that, even when they said it, I wasn't worried. I wasn't scared.
So let's talk about that too, because I mean the latter one especially, in my opinion, quite scary. But when I talked to you here 4 weeks ago, when you didn't know a lot about your daughter's first daughter's issues that she was having, the broken foot. Obviously, you're sad for your daughter because she's an athlete, can't play.
Yep.
And then your third with potential brain surgery here. When I talked to you, you still had an optimistic attitude. So how do you? And here's the thing I'd say too: when there's stuff happening to my kids, I'd rather trade places with them, and I'm sure you would as well want to do that.
In a heartbeat.
But
Dude.
but again, your perspective was one of what? What was your perspective and your attitude going through that? Again, I would submit you were kind of getting buried to my opening comments.
Yeah, I was. I had a lot of stuff going on at work. I was out of town. I was working in and out of town. You and I couldn't even get together.
You were actually working out of town, not getting paid for it. You were helping out a friend.
Correct. I went out there to do it as some volunteer work. They did pay me for it, to be clear.
Okay.
I did it as it's one of my best friend's parents, and I went there to do it, and they wouldn't allow me to leave without paying.
Gotcha. Okay.
One of those scenarios.
Gotcha.
But I can't let that stuff take me down, because I've learned if I let that stuff take me down, and when I say that stuff, the things that I can't control, Like I said in my video prior to you guys, to give you guys this heads up of what was going on with us, I had to leave it in the hands of surgeons. I'm not a surgeon. I'm a framer. I build houses. You want a building lifted? I got you. You want me to put a roof on your house? I got you. But you want me to go take a scalpel and open up a human being and go do some stuff? Yeah, I'm not your guy. I mean, I may have stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but, you know, I'm not going to come start cutting on people.
Yeah.
I can't control those things. I can't control what's happened to my kids. I can't, if it's out of my control, I've learned that I have to let it go.
So what are the things in your life right now that you're holding on to and you're not letting go? Or you're just squeezing it so tight, you feel like you want to control it, right? But you let it go. How though? Let's talk about how do you let stuff like that go?
That's the tricky part. Like that the tricky part is just having faith. I have blind faith. I do. I have faith that God has got it under control, that he's already made a decision on what's going to happen anyway. So why am I going to sit here and stress and upset myself and upset my children even more and not be there and show them that it's okay? If I'm sitting here wallowing in the pain and hurt of my daughter, how is that going to help her feel better about her situation? It's not. It's going to make her feel worse. And that's not my job as her parent.
That's a great way of looking at it. I mean, if you're in this negative mindset about what she was experiencing, all of them for that matter,
Right.
and they're watching your reaction, they're going to draft off that in some way, shape, or form.
They're
right?
going to. What you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. We talk about that. And if I'm projecting a bad vibe to my kids, they're going to start feeling that. And that's going to take them down a dark path too. And I lived in the darkness. I did. And I don't want to go back.
Not related to these three incidents
No,
you're saying before
just
that. Just to be
in my
clear.
life,
Yeah.
that's where finding the beauty in the darkness came from. Is I lived most of my life in the darkness.
That was his tagline, by the way, when we were trying to figure out what we were going to do here in our videos. But yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
find that beauty. And no matter how dark it gets, you always have to try to find that beauty. Well, it's pretty dark when all three of your kids are hemmed up and bad things are happening to them and you can't control it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it and say I didn't have a moment in my truck where I cried, because I did. I did, wholeheartedly. And that's what we do as men. You know, I had that moment on the way to work and it was just like, holy cow. And I just kind of looked up and said, I got you. It's not under my control. I have to let it go. And I try to look at that as a life lesson. Like, you know what? Maybe I've been trying to control some things in my life lately that I wasn't really knowing I was doing. And maybe this is his way of telling me, hey, you're doing it again. You're taking back control. It's not your will, it's my will. Because every time I suffer from the human condition, it's my will. You know, when I take my will back, that's when I see things start heading down that dark path. It's his will. It's thy will be done, right?
Yes, that's how the prayer goes. Thy will be done.
It's not my will, it's thy will.
Right.
And to change my perspective, that's how I started looking at it. If I can't control it, if there's nothing, if I'm doing everything I can on my side and it's still happening, it's out of my control. Then I have to leave it to the people who have the control. Those are the surgeons, those are the doctors, the nurses, and first and foremost, God.
And you know, the one thing I would say too is if you're having a hard time giving up control, or even when you do give up control, it's okay to ask God why and question him. Even Christ, when he was on the cross, right? His verbatim line was, my God, why have you forsaken me? Right? So even Jesus was pleading with God as to the why.
Yep.
And what that tells me is that if you're asking why, you actually have a relationship with God, and it's a good thing.
It is.
You know?
It is. And that's all part of your own personal relationship with him. And that's something we've talked about too is, you know, your relationship with God is between you and him. It has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with Rob, just like my relationship with God has nothing to do with Rob either. You can talk to him. You may not get the answers right away. You may never get the answers, but that doesn't mean he's not listening. And that's the thing we need to remember. I mean, look at, my daughter just came out of everything just fine. A week later, she's heading back to school. And I mean, you saw her today.
Yeah.
She seemed like she was pretty good and upbeat.
Yeah, but there was a point in time when you were here with her maybe a few weeks ago, and she was
Oh,
on a hike with you, and you didn't know what was wrong with
yeah,
her,
we had no
right?
clue, and we were in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere. We were
Mm-hmm.
5.5 hours away from anything.
Mm-hmm. Right. A bit
So,
concerning, right? When your daughter's in
yeah,
that much pain and
yep,
can't figure out what's going on, and
yep, it can be,
yeah,
but I didn't, I just chalked it up as maybe you got a side cramp. Okay,
yeah.
well, the next day when she was feeling sick, all right, maybe you should go to the ER. And
Mm-hmm.
and I said it in that exact same tone, like, something could be wrong. I can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken me years to get this way. It's not like it was just a flip of a switch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys need to remember that. Like, I'm still a work in progress. But the one thing you'll find out about me, and Rob will attest, is I'm pretty much always upbeat. Like, it
It's
takes a
truth.
lot to get me down. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure a tornado could run through my house and I just kind of go, huh, well, everybody's okay, so it's just stuff.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting how God intervenes to really kind of change us, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely,
I mean,
wholeheartedly,
he'll kind of
man.
rip us down to our studs to build us back up to the person that he wants us to be, and sometimes he does that multiple times. I think throughout our life, in different ways, and hopefully, we become a different person every time we kind of go through the ripping down and rebuilding phase.
And I think we do, you know,
Yeah.
because I can attest to the fact that I know beyond a shadow of a doubt in the last 10 years I've been torn down to bare bones minimum at least 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I come back better.
So maybe God's doing something in your life right now. If you're feeling buried, you don't have control, you're not letting go, not letting God, maybe he's trying to do something to you as well. Maybe he's trying to rip you down to the studs to rebuild you into the person that he wants you to be.
The person
And,
he knows you are,
mm,
the person that you don't see yet. That's the thing we need to remember is he's doing things behind the scenes that we don't understand and will never see.
his ways are bigger than our ways, and his thoughts are bigger than our thoughts.
Exactly. And the sooner we can kind of wrap our head around that and realize that things start happening, they really do. And if you pay a little attention, you'll start seeing it.
Mm. And I think if you're paying attention to the details and you're seeing things on the other end of being rebuilt, that's where you continue to make the forward progress. You're like,
Exactly.
then you have the aha, or oh, now I see the why behind it,
Ah,
right?
okay, that all makes sense now. Maybe next time I shouldn't question it so much and I should probably just follow that path.
And it makes sense because when you are quote unquote buried, and I'll use the analogy of being buried underneath the ground, you can't see it. You can't see it at the time, right? But you do have to choose to live and dig out of it, knowing that there is another side to where you are today, right? And that's a perception that I think you've always had
He's
through
dead
it.
and buried and reborn.
Mm-hmm. That's right. He was. Yep.
So are we. Every time he changes us, a part of us dies and a
Mm-hmm.
new part of us is reborn. Dude, recovering alcoholic.
Mm.
I don't even think about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's dead and buried. That's gone.
Praise God for that.
And I was reborn without that fatal addiction.
And look at the people that you've helped through that too.
Yeah,
I mean, on
absolutely.
the other side of it, the people you have literally helped because you had a story to share.
Yep. All
Right.
because we did
So,
something like this right here.
mm-hmm.
Instead of doing it this way like we are now, I used to have to go to individual, and that's kind of I think why we started doing this was we wanted to try to reach more people
Mm-hmm.
because we know what it's like to be buried. We do. We know what it feels like for everything just to be overwhelming you every single day because we lived it.
Yeah, that's right.
We've had those life experiences, and that's why we want to share it with you guys because
Mm-hmm.
it's not done. Your story doesn't end here. Just because you're buried, you're struggling and suffering. That's all part of it. That's the thing we have to do to show him we're worthy of eternity in heaven. It is.
And if we're not dead, we're not done. I'll say it again. If we're not dead, we're not done. And do us a favor, drop a comment on here. Are you struggling right now? Is there something that is burying you right now? Do you not see the other end of it? Or maybe you've come out on the other side and you want to share kind of where you've seen the light. We'd love to hear your comments. And again, we're doing this together as a group. So again, and your comments are going to help other people if you're willing to take some time to share your experience with us, but really the whole world.
Yeah, with anybody
So
who wants to see it, and that's the thing. The sooner you step outside yourself, the sooner you start seeing change too.
that's where life really begins, in my opinion, when you start to step outside yourself. And even by listening, I would submit, even by listening to our content, and that's what you're doing. You're here for a reason, right? You want to learn kind of from our experiences, from the experiences of other people. Maybe you're sharing some of our videos with other people, which we certainly appreciate if people need to hear it. I had my daughter reach out to me. She had a friend out at college last week who was really struggling with her faith in God, and I said, well, maybe this video might help her. You know what I mean? And what I really appreciated about my daughter's text was that she's like, Dad, thanks for sharing Jesus with us. And I was like, you know what? It seems simple to do, but sometimes you take that word for granted, and it all goes back to Him, right? It all goes back to Him,
Dude,
His glory. So
10 years ago, I wasn't sharing my word with my kids.
is that right?
10 years, I wasn't
Yeah.
walking around my house talking about God on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
It's not where I was.
Yeah.
It's not where I was at with my walk with Him. Me and Him were at odds at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am talking about it not only with my children, but with my family. Something that I was able to do that literally made my heart probably the warmest it's been in a long time is I was able to go to my grandmother who's been praying for me for so long. This woman has been praying for me for so long. And to be able to go to her and say, Grandma, I'm no longer a sheep, I'm finally a shepherd.
That's pretty amazing.
You want to see a woman drop? That woman dropped in tears right then and there. She has been praying for me my whole life. And to have her grandson come to her and say that, that had to make her life right then and there. And, you know, I share those moments with you guys because those moments can become your moments too. You just have to start changing your perspective. Stop looking at the glass as half empty and start seeing it as half full. We're all going through problems. That's what life is. It's a bunch of problems wrapped up in tiny little moments that are great. If you think about it.
Wait. Back the truck up. Say that one more time.
Life is a bunch of problems wrapped up in tiny little moments that make it great. The birth of my daughter was probably one of the greatest things. But then I have to raise her. That's not fun. That's expensive. And I got 3 of them. But then I get the little moment. I get that little moment where she's
I
going to
love that line.
homecoming.
Yeah, why do we always think that everything's got to be so great? I think we have this false perception in
That's
our
what I'm
lives.
saying.
And a lot of, especially with social media, we talked about that before. It's
Yes.
like everything is great. It's not the
It's
case.
not.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, life isn't meant to be easy. It's meant to be hard. So life is a bunch of hard crap that we have to mud through and figure out how to get through for these tiny little moments that show us how amazing it can be.
Amen to that.
Like, look back there.
Yeah.
Do you see that? That's beautiful and amazing.
I thought you were talking about the back of your head because when you turned around, I think people really appreciated that earlier.
Yeah, they probably don't want to see this hot mess.
Well, hey, again, thanks for being with us today. And again, if you got anything from this video, will you please like, comment? We'd certainly appreciate that. And most importantly, maybe even subscribe if you're not a subscriber. You're coming back here on a monthly basis. We'd love to kind of pull you in on this journey with us and do this together. And again, I'm Rob.
I'm
This
Josh,
has been Finding Hope in a Suffering Society.
where we always try to find
The beauty in the darkness. And we'll see you in the next video.
love you guys. We'll see you. And of course it doesn't want to stop now. Probably because it disconnected again.